What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Chris, and we're back on Spurs Spotlight with another banger.
Yeah, y'all gonna stop coming in my live talking about this Victor dude, bro. We hooping this year. Y'all gonna see.
Alright team, so today we're going to be doing something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and now that free agency is kind of cooled down, I think the Spurs are actually done with their moves, but we'll just have to see, if anything else happens. I guess I'm going to have to redo this video, like if we trade for somebody big like Larry Markkinen, we should be good, and I think we can now get down into it and see what the projected lineups are going to be looking like. This is just my guess, so leave it down below if you have something different. Y'all can leave y'all's lineups down below. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. Now, we're going to start from rookies all the way to the 19-year veteran Chris Paul. We're going to make our way down through experience. And so we're going to start off at the top with our most recent draft pick, Stephen Vassell. Starting off, since we do have Chris Paul and Trey Jones, I think he's going to play more of a combo guard like how Derek White used to play. And that's who I compared Stephen Vassell to, Derek White. That was my player comp going into the draft. And so far, I'm liking what I've seen from Vassell in Summer League. Now, starting off in the first few games of Vassell playing, I don't think he's going to run the offense really at all. Knowing that we're trying to actually get some wins this season, actually trying to compete a little bit, I think they're going to give the ball to Chris Paul and Trey Jones because they've been here and they know how to run an NBA offense. Again, like I said, kind of how Derek White and DeJounte played. I think Vassell's going to play more of that White role. Then moving down to Harrison Ingram, I don't think he's going to get much minutes at all. I think he will be in the G League for a majority of the season. Kind of like Sidy Cissoko his first season. Juan Nunez, he's a drafting stash, so I'm not going to get into much of that. Riley Minix, I think they just signed him to, a training camp contract. I think that's what it is. So yeah, that's why he's on here. I actually seen some people say they like Minix. So if you know anything about his play style or what you like about him, leave it down below because I'm not up to date on Riley Minix. And then of course, Wemby, our star player, he's going to be the starting five. I'm really excited to see year 2 of Wemby and how he develops. I was watching him earlier today. It was France versus Brazil, and Wemby was going off. Even in the second half, he didn't really score as much, but he just had control over the game. I want to see Wemby be able to take over a game consistently and really have the game at the palm of his hands because he's so good. I don't think that's an unrealistic expectation for a player like Wemby, especially how he came and dominated his first season. He often looked like the best player on the court sometimes, and he was just a 19, 20-year-old rookie, so year 2 is going to be very scary. Next was Sidy Cissoko. I don't know. This summer league was a little disappointing for me. I know he was just coming off the knee surgery, so I cut him some slack. But I don't really know where he's going to fit in on the team. I could see him possibly playing like a backup 3, backup 4, however you want to see. I think he'll share minutes with Mamu. But I don't know how Pop wants to do it. I don't know if he's ready to let Cissoko get a whole bunch of minutes because he didn't look too good and he's coming off knee surgery and he is only 20 years old. So I for sure think City's going to get minutes. But I just don't know how much. I don't know how much of a key piece he's going to be, especially this first year. Sohan, I think he's going to be the starting 4 again. I'm also excited for year 3 Sohan. He's going to have a full season back at his normal position. And I think we're about to see the old Sohan come back. The rookie Sohan that we all loved. That was one of my favorite players on that team. Granted, we didn't have much to choose from, but hopefully he can get his full confidence back and his full swagger. Because at the end of the season, I kind of saw it come back, but then of course he had to get ankle surgery and all this stuff. But I'm ready for him to have a full season back at his regular position, and he's not going to have to set up and run no offense. Blake Wesley, I was talking about this in a video that I didn't get to upload, but I was saying how Blake Wesley and Malachi Branham are kind of running out of PT. Because with Stephen Vassell coming in, he's kind of like a Blake Wesley archetype. They have similar play styles. Obviously, Stephen Vassell's 3 inches taller, and he has much more muscle to him. He plays more strong, but looking at their play style, they are get downhill type of players and finish at the rim. Blake Wesley's not a good shooter either, and so they kind of I don't know how they would fit together. So we might see a year where Blake Wesley's not getting much PT, and I don't know how that's going to work out because he is our 2022 draft pick. I think Malachi Branham and Stephen Vassell would actually be a better fit than Wesley and Vassell because Branham at least has some shooting to him. At the end of the season, you saw Malachi Branham heat up with the catch and shoot threes. He's a real streaky player. On offense, especially if he's scoring, he's getting buckets. But if he's missing, then it's really looking bad. But I think if Malachi Branham is hitting his shots and playing well, he should have a spot in the rotation at least a little bit. I don't know how Pop's going to want to do it with Wesley and Castle and Trey Jones. Those are all like non-shooting guards. So, and Jamari Bouye, I was watching him in the summer league. He looked really nice in the summer league, but then again, the guard room is kind of filling up, so I don't know if Jamari Bouye is going to get any burn at all, especially because we do have to fit in Blake Wesley and Malachi Branham's minutes still. So right now, I feel like the biggest hole on the roster is a wing. You know, we had a lack of guard play last season, but this season I think it's completely different. We got a bunch of guards, and I'm happy with that. And so, yeah, I don't think Jamari Bouye is going to be playing much for us this season. Next, Champagnie. I can also see Champagnie being a backup 3. And so Champagnie, I feel like he's going back to the bench. You know, we had him starting all last season, and it wasn't a good look for him. He's still a young player. As you can see, he's only 23 years old. And for him being 23, I think he handled the starting spot with a lot of poise, you know what I'm saying? Because at times you would forget Champagnie is 23 years old and he can still do a lot on the court. A lot gets overlooked. I think he has solid defense. I think he could slash pretty well. He has some nice dunks. And when he's hot from 3, he's really hot from 3. He was just playing in last year's summer league, and then he went to starting and guarding all the best wings because we really didn't have anybody else to guard. And so I think whenever he's coming off the bench, he's going to look way better next season. A whole season of experience starting is huge. So when he's going to this bench, he's going to feel like way less pressure to provide, and his game's going to come along much more smooth. I think this Champagnie could be a key piece to this core, a nice role player. Charles Bassey is a backup big man, but I don't know if I could count on him to be here this whole season. He just hasn't been healthy, and I don't know. He's only 23 as well. But we had to sign Bassey back. We don't have no backup center. I don't really count Zach Collins as a center because, you know, it's been a bad look with him at center. Charles Bassey, when he's playing and he's on the court, I really like him in that backup 5 spot. He just hasn't been on the court. So I guess we're going to see if he can stay healthy. If he gets injured again, the Spurs might just have to waive him because it'll be like 3 seasons in a row at that point. David Duke Jr., news actually just came out that we signed him. I'm not going to lie, I don't watch David Duke Jr. I don't know his game at all. If anybody has some words to describe Duke Jr.'s game, go ahead and comment that down below because I haven't looked into him much. Again, we have a lot of guards on this roster, and I don't think a majority of these guys are getting PT. I think Duke Jr. is going to be in the G League because I believe he is on a 2-way contract, although he's already 24, so I don't know what they could possibly try to stash him for. But hey, if the Spurs are signing him, then I guess they have a plan for him. Sandro Mamukelashvili. Now, I don't know if Mamu's going to get any more PT. I'm hoping so because you saw the way he ended off the season playing with Wemby. I think that those two are a good match and they know how to play together. I feel like the Spurs want Sissoko to get some PT this season. Mamu and Sissoko kind of have like the same role. If they were to be with this Spurs team, that would be like a modern 4 who could do a little bit of everything. Although I think Mamu can shoot a little bit better, but Sissoko kind of has better perimeter defense. So that's kind of their differences, and the Spurs are just going to have to pick what they want in that specific matchup, I guess, when trying to decide minutes between Sissoko and Mamu. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. I think both of those guys are due for some minutes this season. Devin Vassell, obviously, he's going to be the running mate to Wemby this season. He's going to be our starting 2, and I'm expecting a big year out of Devin Vassell. Not just scoring, but I want him to take a step in playmaking and operating in the pick and roll. And that's where I think Chris Paul's going to come into play and show our young guys how to really control the game. And so I'm really excited for Devin Vassell. I think a big season's coming for him. I know we just dropped that video the other day. Don't count Devin Vassell out most improved player. I think he could very well be in that conversation. So yeah, big year for young Devo. Trey Jones, I think he is the backup point guard of the future. I'm also excited for Trey Jones to learn from Chris Paul. Again, we forget that these players are still really young. Trey Jones is only 24 years old. So I'm excited to see him grow and be that backup point guard that can facilitate the offense whenever Chris Paul or Stephen Castle aren't on the court. Other than that, I think his numbers should be pretty consistent to what we've seen from him these past few years. I don't expect like a leap in scoring or anything, but I just want him to continue being that floor general. Keldon Johnson, another backup wing. I don't know if he's going to be on the team to start the season, but if he is, that's another player you're going to have to split minutes with Mamu, Champagnie, and Sissoko with, so I don't know. I'll admit, out of all those backup wings, Keldon Johnson is the best player. He is the best player that could possibly be playing in that position right now, just because all the experience. He's the longest tenured Spur. He's still a really good player, no matter if he is in trade conversation or not. I think Keldon Johnson is really good on the offensive end, especially if he could be the number one option coming off the bench. Zach Collins, backup big man, the same role as last season, I'm guessing, if Charles Bassey, unless they want to start Charles Bassey at the 5 and Collins back at the 4, I wouldn't be opposed to that. And then you have Keldon Johnson at the 3 with Stephen Castle at the 2 and Trey Jones at the 1 as the backup unit. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Charles Bassey would definitely help with some of that rim protection that Zach Collins was lacking with. And Zach Collins could space the floor depending on the week, you know. So I could see Zach Collins being his backups 5 or 4. Harrison Barnes, I think he's going to start at the 3 alongside Sohan and Vassell. In between those two, he's going to play the 3. Yeah, he's going to be the vet wing that we need to really hold the spot until we could draft somebody that's a two-way wing. I don't know if we could be looking at that in the 2025 draft class or where we're going to get that wing from, but I feel like they brought in Harrison Barnes to just kind of band-aid that position until we do get somebody to fit in the actual core. And I think he's going to do a pretty good job being a vet for this team. 12 years of experience is far more than any other guy on this roster. That's double Zach Collins, who's the highest. And then Chris Paul, the floor general. He is going to make everything run so smoothly, and he is going to be that starting point guard for us. I'm so excited to see him and throw those lobs to Wemby. And look at these guys. They're trolling. They don't have his number right here. Can we get a Chris Paul number, please? But yeah, Chris Paul is going to be the starting point guard for at least this season. And then I think Stephen Castle will take over after that. But he's going to show our guys so much stuff. And I'm so excited to watch this upcoming season. Y'all leave down below if y'all have any starting lineups that y'all would like or any backup lineups that y'all would like. Make sure to leave a like. Y'all join Spurs Spotlight Discord. The link is in the comments and also in the description. But other than that, it's me, your boy Chris here on Spurs Spotlight. And I'm out. Peace.